All right, now how about Brandon Aiyuk? Speaking of the West Coast, the San Francisco 49ers, bang, there's award-winning radio for you right there, Doran. The 49ers draft the wide receiver out of Florida, 31st overall, Pearsall, whatever his name is. Really good, explosive player out of Florida. Man, it kind of leads you to believe that Brandon Aiyuk could be available, like really be available. And that was reported leading up to the draft. The Steelers reportedly interested in Brandon Aiyuk, but Mike Silver, who writes for the Chronicle out there, he tweeted this out last night. Based on my conversations with other teams, the 49ers are now more likely to deal Deebo Samuel than they are Brandon Aiyuk. Stay tuned. He wrote a column as well, Mike Silver did, and he's one of the longest tenured best NFL beat writers going, Durham. He tweeted out, with the 31st pick in the NFL draft, the San Francisco 49ers select ... drama. Mm-hmm. So he believes that one of these two guys is going to get dealt, and he believes it's more likely that it would be Deebo Samuel. Well, the Steelers wouldn't be giving up their first-round pick for either one of those guys, which means I would like it more because I said I wouldn't do that. Would you still try to make a trade for one of these guys? What might that look like, and who do you like better?
Yeah, I was going to actually flip that back on you. Who do you like better? But I guess I'll just answer it. Yes, I would. I mean, especially if it's a future second, I definitely would. And I would probably, I would take Deebo Samuel, just knowing how Arthur Smith operates. He's used Cordero Patterson in multiple ways. He likes to use players in different roles. He used Jonnu Smith as a running back, as a tight end, as a receiver. I think that you would add Deebo Samuel as a weapon, at OW, an offensive weapon, and I think that just adds to the arsenal of Arthur Smith, and you could do so many different things. I mean, if you watch Deebo Samuel, at least just last year, I mean, there's times where he'll have 30 yards rushing on 5 carries, and he'll have 70 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
He had 225 rushing yards last year. He's a wide receiver. They let him touch the ball 37 times at the running back position.
Right.
He had 5 rushing touchdowns, Doran.
You could do so many things with him, and that just adds to your offense, and he would be a very valuable weapon. I don't even know if you would say he's a number 2. He would just be a number 1 weapon. Not the number 1 weapon, but a number 1 weapon for the Steelers. So for me, I probably would try to make a deal for Deebo Samuel. How about you?
Everything you're saying makes a ton of sense. When you think about how Arthur Smith used Cordero Patterson before, Deebo Samuel is that guy on steroids, man. The issue for me is you're going to have to pay either one of these guys, right? So you got to trade. You trade for him. You're going to have to give up something significant in return, and then you have to pay them. And while I do think Deebo Samuel is a jack of all trades, and he is that that offensive weapon, OW, he's also 28 years old. And Brandon Aiyuk is younger. Brandon Aiyuk is, I think, a better receiver. I think that's what this team needs, plus the age factor. I think I would go Aiyuk over Deebo Samuel. I do. What do you think? 412-928-9370. We'll take some calls on that coming up in a moment. You can text us, brought to you by Edgar Snyder & Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. And you can tweet us, brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. Visit them at southhillskia.net, @_Adam Crowley, @Scorin' Doran. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if Deebo Samuel's a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Right.
Not at all.
It's a win-win if you could pull off a trade for either or.
Mm-hmm. And they drafted a receiver. I mean, this is the worst kept secret in the NFL. They're not going to have all 3 of those guys next year. Pearsall and then these 2 guys. They're not going to do it. If Cincinnati had drafted a wide receiver at 18, I would have thought, T. Higgins, they're going to move on from him, or at least they're guarding against what it's going to look like next year. San Francisco drafting a receiver 31st overall is so telling, man. It's just so telling. And then you got to trust a guy like Mike Silver saying he thinks Deebo Samuel can be moved. I would still not like to part from next year's first-round pick. If you could do it for next year's second, and maybe I would do this year's second in a third for one of these guys. I want to hold on to my first-round pick, but I would do that in a heartbeat.